My name is Thaddeus Turner. I'm a musician, father, teaching artist, producer, arranger, songwriter, all of the above, yeah.
Ready? I am on the mall.
Thaddillac is kind of my musical identity.
Check it out. The house is blue, the car, Thaddillac, the girls, sexy, my top hat, so the keys, my wallet, now I'm out the door. Woo! These go, the questions, the answers, and fame, success, I'm not afraid at all. I had clean drawers on and a crystal ball.
One time I showed up late to a gig and I was driving this old black sedan. It was the old Cadillac DeVille, 1992. And my brother said, "It's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's Thaddillac." And everybody started laughing. You know, after that point, I'm synonymous with Thaddillac. I'm also a musical director for Digable Planets. My first musical experience was actually banging on pots and pans in the kitchen. My dad played piano for church, so there was a piano in the house, saxophone, trombone, drums, guitar and basses, all kind of different instruments around the house. People think that I'm primarily a guitar player, but I use each instrument as a tool to write songs. Right now, we're in the building where Totem Star is housed. Our whole thing is to empower youth voices through music. I'm a teaching artist and also co-founded with Daniel Pak.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Daniel. Beautiful.
Daniel, beautiful.
Most luxurious hair in the world.
Luxurious, bro.
Hawk.
Yes. Let's see what they're doing.
Totem Star got its start through the Juvenile Rehabilitation Administration. We were asked to provide a program for youth that had just been released from juvenile detention. After we finished that programming, a third of the kids ended up reoffending and going back. So right then and there, we knew there was a need. One thing that we say when you come through the doors of Totem Star, that's your family. Totem Star. Totem meaning family, star meaning something shining bright. So your family's shining bright. I think after a while, all the youth artists feel that. Well, I'm working on a beat here, but next door we have Kittis McCloud. Every superhero needs a nemesis. I'm his nemesis. He goes by Kittis Perfecto, and I made up my own tag, and is Thaddeus Klepto.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Lonzine, I see people popping on. Good evening. Happy Sunday. We're live. Tonight, you guys, I feel so honored. So you saw the intro video, and I said cool like that because that's what I think of him as. And then on top of that, I talked about first love. Now we're going to get into first love stuff, but let me introduce him because my first love or my first introduction to him was this one small, tiny part of what I knew about him. Being the musical director for Digable Planets. Cool Like That was one of the all-time hits. He's a Grammy Award winner or nominated. And then guess what, you guys? They're still touring. It's crazy. I got a chance to see him live a couple of years ago. I was introduced to him through Todd. You hear me talk about Todd all the time. So we were in Chicago and they had a concert. And I'm not going to keep running on and on and on because I need to bring this brother on. But I wanted to introduce him by saying my first love with him was the music that I knew him by. But as I got a chance to know him and be introduced to him, there's so much more to him. And between Angee and I, you know, my producer, my partner in crime, we're like, we've got to let people know who he is and what he's doing. It is fabulous. So without any further ado, he is waiting in the studio right now. I want to bring him up, Mr. Thaddeus Turner, also known as Thaddillac. Hey, my brother, how are you?
Doing great, Pat. How about yourself?
I'm good. I hear on that coast, on the West Coast, you're fighting allergies like we are in the Midwest and everywhere else. This is some crazy stuff we're dealing with, right?
Yeah, a lot of pollen.
Yes. A lot of I say it's growth, but growth brings some discomfort. But I want to thank you because we've been trying to do this for about a year now, but you've been all over Europe and you've been touring and with Digable Planets and doing your thing, and it was hard to get a time, but you took time out, and that says a lot about you. So I want to say thank you before we go any further.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Angee and I'm going to bring her on in a minute, but Angee and I have been ever since Todd introduced me to you. I was telling her about you, and then he told her about you, and she's like, "We got to get him on here. This is too exciting. We got to let people know who he is," because she's a producer of this show, but she also is the host of Level Up, Ordinary People with Extraordinary Stories, and yours is still extraordinary and unfolding and the things that you're doing. So I'm not going to go on and on and on because I can. That's the name of the show, Pat Nash Talks. But I want to listen because I want the people to know a little bit about you, the man, the musician, the father, the mentor. So if I had to ask you anything, I say, Thad, to someone who doesn't know you, what would you want them to know is your first love, your passion?
Well, I I think it's actually my parents, because they kind of nurtured me into, they kind of, but both of them being musicians also, that was kind of unique, and so my first experiences were of that, hearing them sing and play instruments and do all those things. That's the first healthiest relationship that I encountered.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, healthiest relationship, because we go through some things. I don't care who you are. You go through some things in relationships. I'm just going to assume that. I'm not going to assume that. I know that to be true. So, your first love is your parents because they introduce you to the love and the passion of music, right?
Yes.
People were probably expecting some juicy thing like, oh, it was Diana Ross or something like that. But I think it's cool that you said parents and they had a healthy relationship.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not even going to get into the personal side and say, okay, how does that translate into your personal relationship? Because I do want them to know about your love and your passion and what you're doing with the kids. We're going to talk about that a little bit before I get all these people who are going, wait, let me tell them about my personal relationship and my first love. So talk to me a little bit about that. What made you decide to do what you do, and tell us what you do when you're not touring and all the other stuff that you're doing. What do you do for fun?
Boy. One thing I really like to do is cook. So I love to cook, and so what did I make? I made oxtails and red beans and rice and plantain. And what else did I have?
I don't know, but I'm gonna have to invite myself to Seattle.
I like you know cooking, definitely. I like to cue it up and
Mhm.
and do you know soul food, fusion stuff, whatever. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I didn't know that about you. But I mean, I don't know a lot of stuff about you. I just met you, a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
I think
It's
a
been
couple of years ago.
about 3 years ago, I think somewhere.
It's been over 2 years.
Yeah.
Because honestly, you don't know this, but that was the first place that Todd and I went together.
Oh
We
wow.
went
Okay.
to Chicago
Yeah.
and we
Me.
saw
We met at the spot, right? Diamantes or whatever. Yeah.
we met. Well, yeah, I think I met you first. We went backstage. I mean, we were
Oh,
I felt like celebrity. Remember, we were in Chicago. You guys had a concert.
yeah.
And honestly, that was I want to say our first official date in Chicago.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Hanging out with you guys, Digable Planets backstage.
Yeah.
So yeah, people are going to, of course, chime in and ask stuff. I'm excited because I'm learning so much, and I'm looking at my notes too. I'm learning so much about you just in these first 2 minutes. But let's go back to the the show, and I know Angee is like, oh, I got some questions. I got some questions in the background. So Angee, you can pop on. You're the producer anytime. But Thaddeus, what Angee and I were like so impressed with, we know as business women and as career people, and relationship, because we still have relationship. You have a child
Mhm.
and a young child, correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
So with all of that going on, you still find time to volunteer and change some lives in your community. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
The work with youth started um, before I had kids, so um, I've basically been doing that for about 30 some odd years. So,
Wow.
uh,
Wow.
no, so close to 40 years. Yeah, I think my first programming was when I was 18 or 19. I was working at in this neighborhood community center, Hilltop, and some mutual, um, people who work in the community had this position through. It's called the Summer Youth Employment Program, and I went and worked with youth in May Beach with them, and they rapped or sang or did whatever they did. It was a small program, only lasted about 2 months. I
Yeah,
think like an 8-week program, and the kids got a stipend and free food, and and they ended up with a concert at the end, and and
that's
so
fun.
yeah, and so just one thing after another led to that. And then there was there was moments when I didn't do that, or I was just maybe teaching lessons or something like that, and it wasn't like directly involving um you know that sector of youth. So
Okay. So are you involved with them now?
um in I well, actually now I'm at youth detention, and so I've been with them for about a year um or so. I think it's right around a year. And so once again, I'm working with that marginalized community, and dealing with youth that have created some very unique circumstances for themselves based on their choices. And
Right.
so, um, and I think it's a real um, break from what they have to really think about, and because a lot of them are aging out of youth centers, and now
Mhm.
they're going as soon as they're 18, they ship them right out, and they go to the big place, and so and we're not talking about just like petty crimes. We're talking about serious things. Yeah,
Wow.
really super.
And you said something like being in a position based on the choices they made. They're facing some situations. I think it's interesting. You and I are a lot alike. For like 30 years, I've been volunteering, um, but I've been dealing with adults. You deal with children, I deal with adults that have made some choices that got them in interesting situations too. Whether it's divorce or just brokenness and being hurt by different scenarios. Now that you and I are talking about this, do you? I believe a lot of the stuff that I'm dealing with on my side started on that side, started
Yeah,
at that age where they're looking for that good relationship, that good influence, somebody who's going to connect with them and care. Do you know that still happens as adults? They're still looking for that person that's going to connect with them and care. And so for 30 years, I was going to ask you, how do you find time to do it? But when you love it, it happens and it's all around you. So I can't even ask you that because I do it. It's like I'm tired. If somebody calls me, it's like, okay, what's going on? You just do it.
it's automatic, and it's not without twists and turns and curves. It's challenging work, but
It is.
so there's just those are those different buckets, like because at Totem Star is more of a privileged group of kids, who have resources.
Mhm.
school. They're, doing, the normal stuff that youth do. And then I have this other group of youth that I serve that have no choices. They tell them when to eat, sleep, get up, move, and I think it, like I said before, it offers them a decent break from the mundane
Right,
being incarcerated, and so I think that's that one. And then, they hold them to strict guidelines as far as content too. And so it's challenging for the youth to write about something that they live some crazy stuff and they write about it. But trying to convince them to use different words or different ways of explaining their circumstances and their situation. And, remorse comes up in the picture. Intergenerational struggles come up in those conversations with the youth. And I have to shout out all the folks at the Youth Department of Justice for like providing some other kind of services for the youth, except for the same
circumstances or situations that is usually the answer. Just send them to the big house,
Yep, exactly.
I appreciate that too. So shout out to those people who can see beyond that. But as you and I are talking, my show is about relationships, and I love that relationships cover every phase of life, from business to personal to community to all of that. And so you're saying stuff that is hitting the nail right on the head. I mean, even for me, you deal with children who are in trouble. I deal with adults who are in trouble a lot. But honestly, they're just still, I still say they're at that age in their heart to where they're still just looking for that connection, somebody to love them and care about what's happening with them, and to come up with a different solution other than just put them to the side because they're, they made a mistake or they made some bad mistakes over and over and over again. So yeah, shout out to people who think outside the box. So I am going to also invite Angee from the B on, because I know she's in the background. She does a show called Level Up Nation. And she has conversations with ordinary people who do extraordinary things. And that is, I know you probably don't even think that you do extraordinary things, but just the fact that you are plugged into that sector and you're that person that cares and have been caring for 30 years with all the other stuff you're doing, but being, nominated for Grammys and things like that, you still take time to care about other people's children.
That's incredible.
That's a big deal.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And as always, you guys, it's a Sunday night wrap. I wish you all love and light, peace and blessings until we come back next time. That's it.
That's it.
And let's have a moment of clarity. There's freedom in your transparency. When you speak, you release, that's therapy. It's my decision to listen and do it carefully. Wanna live carefree? Well, it's gonna start. When secrets are kept, families are torn apart. I wanna do my part to help heal your heart. Shed some light on your life when your days are dark. Help ignite a spark that'll bring change. Be your shelter from the rain, assist with
Here we go. Intro for my show. Nice though, hot like nitro. Cool as ice though. With that type of dichotomy, y'all know it's gotta be. Who else could it be but T? Rub your eyes, behold the Tony D. I'm the Dream Supreme DJ straight out of Queens. I'm eclectic, the dope is selected. Emerging music break, Tony D will take, yeah.
Well, Tony, I don't care, long as you take me there, someplace to ease my mind.
This is recording artist Bertrand.
Hello, everyone. This is Pat Nash of Pat Nash Talks, where we have the conversations that create real relationships. I'm here every single Sunday, 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern, and you can find us right here on Level Up Nation. See you then.